Welcome back. We're on day 4 of Journey to Resurrection Life. And today we're going to talk about gluttony. Yesterday we talked about greed, and gluttony is another kind of grasping for material things, making an idol out of material things. But these material things are more the things that we ingest, the things that we take into ourselves. Food, the way that we eat, what we eat, the timing of when we eat, whether we're hungry or not, sometimes just to satisfy an emotional need, what we drink and how we drink, the kind of chemicals we take into our body, whether they're prescription drugs or other kinds of drugs or even supplements. We can be gluttonous in all of those if our taking in isn't in temperance and it isn't in freedom, in the Holy Spirit. And I know in my own life I've struggled in this area of gluttony related to things like sugar and carbohydrates and the speed in which I eat. And it's really been a lifelong journey with this virtue that combats gluttony, which is fasting and temperance. I began to fast maybe 35, 40 years ago. And in that fasting, I began to slowly get this grace and strength to overcome some of those areas, and there's some that I'm still battling. But like for many of us, this is a process of growing in virtue. It's not an all or nothing. Sometimes when we do all or nothing diets, there's not really any growth in virtue. There's just a different way of control. But when it's really growing in abstinence and fasting the way that the church teaches, there's a grace in it. There's a joy in it. There was a while when I was really surprised that my happiest days, my most joyful days, were the days when I was fasting. I thought they would be the most unhappy days. And also, even now, there are days when I overeat or eat the wrong foods where I begin to feel sluggish and I begin to feel heavy and weighted down. And it just really takes away that sense of openness and vitality and joy. And I think as we look in the scriptures, we see the story of John the Baptist when he comes before Herod and Herod's wife. And they're having this great feast. And you have a great picture of what gluttony looks like there. They're eating and drinking and self-indulging. And in light of that, Herod becomes numb enough and intoxicated enough where he does things that he regrets. And I think that's true in our life in one way or another. When we begin to indulge ourselves, we begin to deaden our conscience in some way. We begin to fill ourselves with other than God in ways that we're satiated and not really alive in that. So I want you to think about the areas in your life. Where do you eat or drink or ingest in ways that don't bring you life, that don't make you more alive, more healthy, more open to God, more full of the Spirit, but satiate and satisfy that. And as you become aware of that, ask the Lord that one thing, that one area that He wants you to fast today, and then maybe another day, and see yourself getting freedom in that area. God bless you.